What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the brand new expansion MyNBA series here on NBA2k26. This is episode 1. Today we're going to be going through the expansion draft, setting up the team, and getting ready for the regular season, kicking this series off. I'm super excited. If you are as well, make sure you drop a like down below, as well as subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you like franchise content across NBA 2K and Madden and stuff like that, you definitely want to stick around. I have a series with the Miami Dolphins over on Madden 26, so you can go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this series. So we're going to be taking over an expansion team, but let's go over the other team because there will be 2 brand new teams coming into the league at the same time. The first team is going to be the Las Vegas Vipers, and a little bit about this team. They're in Vegas. They want to be flashy. They want to make big free agent signings. They're going to want to draft to win now in this expansion draft. They don't want to play the long game. They want to win as soon as possible, and they want to put on a show for these fans in Vegas. So that is going to be their goal. You're going to see them draft a bit older players. They're still going to draft younger players as well, but they're going to go more focus on win now mode rather than building for the future. That brings us to our expansion team, and that is going to be the Pittsburgh Phantoms. We are going to be in the Eastern Conference. The Vegas Vipers are going to be in the Western Conference. And our Pittsburgh Phantoms, we know it's going to be a struggle. We're a smaller market. We're not going to be able to get those big free agents. And we're not a flashy team. Pittsburgh is a city of grit, hard workers. And, I mean, look at their football team. Look at the Steelers. They pride themselves on defense and running the football there in Pittsburgh. We want to take that same philosophy over to basketball. Now, obviously, you don't run the ball in basketball, but we want to play hard nose defense, and we want to make it tough for the opposing teams. We want to be physical, and we want to out hustle you at every turn and every opportunity. That's going to be the goal of this team. Now, as we head into the expansion draft, we have a different philosophy from what the Vegas Vipers have. We want to draft strictly young players that can develop and have potential. We are not looking to win in year 1 and maybe even year 2 and 3, depending on how things go. We kind of want to, I don't want to say tank. We're still going to try to win. Like I said, we want to play hard and we want to hustle and just, we want to out-grit you as a team. And that's going to be our goal starting from day 1. But we're going to draft young guys who have a chance to develop, and if we do draft any older guys, it's going to be more like trade pieces or maybe some veteran leadership on the team. With all that being said, we are just about ready for the expansion draft, but before we get into that, I want to show you all what I did. I let every team protect 11 players. I want to make it harder. I don't want this expansion draft to be easy and us to get these superstar players here, first draft of the series or whatever you want to call it. So I went through each team manually and I protected what players I thought made sense. So I literally took control of every team and protected who I thought made sense. And like I said, they got to protect 11 players. So a lot of teams are going to protect their younger guys. But in the case like the Thunder, they have so many young guys, so many talented players, that players are going to slip through the cracks. Like Aaron Wiggins is going to be there. AJ Mitchell, who I think is a very good player. But they have to, use their protections on guys like Topic and Sorber, as well as their top guys, obviously. But if you want to do kind of like what I did in this series, I took control of every team. I did 11 players. You can make it harder. You can make it less hard, however you want to do it. But I recommend always doing it this way when you do an expansion draft. I think it makes it better and more realistic of like what players are going to get protected in the draft. All right, with all that out of the way and without further ado, let's go ahead and start the expansion draft. The Vipers have the first overall pick, and they go ahead and take Aaron Wiggins, number 1 overall. He definitely was a player that I would have liked to have a chance at drafting, but he goes first to the Vipers, and it's a snake order, so we will have the next 2 picks. Taking a look here at the available board, the top player on here is Guerschon Yabusele at 77 overall. Like I said, it's going to be slim pickings out here in this expansion draft. I made it difficult for us to try to build a winning roster. And if you take a look here at the top players, a lot of them are above 30 or pretty close to it. Obviously, we have Chris Dunn, KCP, Olynyk, and so on and so forth. We scroll down a little bit more. We have a 26-year-old here, center from the Raptors. Definitely could be a target of ours, but I think I have somebody else in mind. So with our first pick in the expansion draft, I think we're going to take center Jackson Hayes away from the Lakers. He's 25 years old, 75 overall. He had a pretty decent year last year with the Lakers. He shoots a high field goal percentage. He seems like he could just be a consistent guy for us. He's not really going to shoot threes. He can't really do really much of anything. He's mainly there to put, buckets inside, get buckets inside, play a little bit of defense. He's not the best rebounder. He doesn't have the most strength or anything like that, but he has 95 hustle. Like I said, we want to out-hustle you as a team. B potential as well. He's a 7-footer. Jackson Hayes will be our first pick. I already know who I want to take with the next pick. We are going to go with Matisse Thybulle here. He's 28 years old. He's going to come over from the Trailblazers. He's on a 1-year deal, $11.55 million. He's a 3-and-D guy, but he plays really good defense, and he's going to hustle. He's got 85 perimeter, 98 steal. He's going to be more of a guy who can set the tone and kind of set what type of team we want to be, at least early on. He has 90 hustle, C+ potential, and maybe could be a trade asset for us down the line, but I really like Matisse Thybulle. The Vipers, with their next 2 picks, they go with some older players. Like I said, they are in a win-now mode. They take Guerschon Yabusele and Gary Payton II, who's 32 years old, Yabusele, 29. So they did go with Aaron Wiggins at first, who's a younger guy, but he was one of the better players available. Now they're going to go ahead and get their veteran guys who can potentially help them win now. That brings up our next 2 selections. With our first of the next 2 picks, we're going to take power forward or small forward Jabari Walker. He's only on a 2-way contract with the 76ers, but I think he has lots of potential. He can play the 4, he can play the 3. He's kind of like a jack of all trades type of guy. He's not the best ball handler, but he can play a little bit of defense inside and outside. He's a good rebounder for the 3. Even for the 4, he wouldn't be bad. He's not that strong, doesn't have the best vertical. His hustle is only a 70, and he has C+ potential, but he's only 23 years old. I think he is a good player for us to go and grab. With our next pick, we are going to take another center, even though we already took Jackson Hayes, but I think it would be pretty silly to pass up on a potential good player here in James Wiseman. He's already been in the league for 4 seasons, former 2nd overall pick. Hasn't quite panned out, but I think his defense is a little bit better than Hayes, and maybe his rebounding as well. So I think he definitely could get a lot of playing time with us. He also has B potential, 85 hustle. I think he fits the team extremely well. The Vipers go ahead and take Saddiq Bey and KCP, sticking with that win now mode. So that puts us back on the clock. With this pick, we're going to go with a potential guy in Tristan Da Silva. He's been moved around already in his young career, but he's got high potential at a B+. He can shoot the 3 ball a little bit. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's not really going to excel in any one area. So he's like a jack of all trades, master of none type of guy, but he's got good athleticism and, like I said, high potential. He's only 24 years old. He's already a 74 overall, which also isn't bad for 2K standards, even though like everybody in 2K now is a high overall, but 74 is pretty good. He's one of the higher rated players left on the board, so we're going to go ahead and take him. With our next pick, I have been debating this one a lot, but we're going to go ahead and take a veteran here. We're going to take Terry Rozier out of Louisville. He's a veteran player. He's 31 years old. He'll be one of the oldest players we take, but we need a guy who can score the ball. He plays good defense still, and he's just an all-around good player. I think he will help us build a good culture here in Pittsburgh, and he could be a potential sell option at the deadline for us if we so choose. He does have a big contract, but it is only for one season. The Vipers follow in our footsteps. They take a point guard as well. They go with Spencer Dinwiddie, and then they also take the shooter in Duncan Robinson. They are filling out quite the squad here, and they could be potentially making a bid for that play-in spot. I mean, the West is a tough division, tough conference, I should say. So they're going to have their work cut out for them, but so far they're building a pretty solid squad. With this pick, we're going to have to take somebody who can potentially get us some ticket sales here. We're going to go with the high-flying, rim-rocking Jericho Sims. I know it's another center, but he can play the 4 as well. He can't really shoot, and he's not the best defender or anything like that, but he can throw down that rock. I don't know where the dunk attribute is, but just know that it is very, very high. 89 driving dunk, 80 standing dunk. He can rock that rim. We're also going to take our backup point guard here. He is formerly with the Suns. He will now be with the with the Phantoms. The Force is like the generic team that 2K picks. That's why I said that. But Colin Gillespie here. He's an undrafted player out of Villanova. Like I said, he is on the Suns right now, but he's a good three-point shooter at the guard position, but not the best defender. He's more of an offensive guy, and and doesn't really fit what kind of culture we want to build here, but he has good potential, and we do need guys who can score the ball. I think that Colin Gillespie is a good player for us to have. All right, the Vipers go with some young centers here. They take Day'Ron Sharpe and then Sandro. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that last name, but both solid centers here, and they get two good ones late here in the draft that they can develop, and they're good enough to play right now. We're going to go a bit of ways down the board here, but we're going to take a power forward center. I know we've been getting a lot of big men, but I really like Xavier Tillman's skill set. He's not the best three-point shooter, but he can knock them down enough. Maybe if you put him in the corner, but he's got good defense for his size at 6'7". He's got good versatility, and he does hustle pretty well. C+ potential on him. I like the pick here. With our next selection, we're going to take J.D. Davidson here, a point guard. He's currently on a two-way contract with the Rockets, but he will be coming over to us. He's not really the best guy, but we need some more depth at the guard position, and I think that he has pretty decent potential. Only 45 hustle, but I did like him coming out of college from Alabama when the Celtics drafted him. So we're going to go ahead and take him. Vipers go back and get another point guard in Brandon Williams, another young guy that they can develop, as well as Zach Collins, who can play now, a bit of a veteran at this point, but still only 27. And that leaves us with our next two picks. We're going to take Johnny Juzang with our next pick. He can shoot the three, he can shoot the mid-range. He's not the best defender, but he can handle the ball a little bit, and I think he's just overall a good player to have, maybe coming off of our bench, and he's only 24 years old. Following up Juzang, we're going to take Jameer Watkins. He's another two-way contract player, but he's got good athleticism. He can dunk the ball a little bit. He can play some pretty decent defense as well. It's definitely a work in progress, but I think he's a decent player to have and maybe someone that we can develop. The Vipers take Chris Dunn. I was wondering if he was actually going to go. I would have considered him with one of our last picks as another veteran guy, the 31-year-old. He can play the two guard. He can play the one. He's pretty good. He's a 77. That's a good pickup for them. They also get a young forward here that they can try and develop. So we have two players left that we will be drafting here. With one of these picks, we're going to take Elijah Harkless, only a 67 overall. Another work in progress type of player, but he's got B- potential. He hustles. Like I said, I really like that hustle rating. I actually don't know if it does anything in 2K, to be honest, but we're going to pretend it does. And, he can shoot the three a little bit. He can handle the ball a little bit, but he's not really the best. He's an undrafted guy out of UNLV, another guy on a two-way contract. But we're going to go ahead and take him, and that leaves us with one player left that we can take. And with that pick, we're going to take DaRon Holmes II, a former first-round pick. Can do a little bit of everything. He could play the 4, can play the center. He's a good athlete for his position, and he has B potential. I think that is a good last pick. And if we go ahead and take a look, the Vipers go ahead and take Kelly Olynyk, and that will round out the expansion draft. All right, so with the expansion draft being over, here is our team. Our highest rated player is Matisse Thybulle at 76 overall. Hayes at 75, De Silva, Rozier. It made us sign Seth Curry, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut him. I'm also going to cut Brandon Boston, and I'm going to cut Jay Crowder. And I'm going to cut Reggie Jackson. I have to sign somebody, though, first. And we are going to make some free agent signings. So, actually, I guess before I go through the roster, I should probably do that. The first guy I'm actually going to sign is going to be Cam Reddish. I want him to be a 3-and-D guy. He only wants a 1-year deal. I'm actually going to try, see if I can give him a 2-year deal here, a 1-year plus a team option. And he will accept that. So, he is going to be on the Phantoms. We have room for one more roster spot after I called everybody up and signed them to contracts, all the two-way players, that is. And I want to sign another veteran here, 33-year-old DeLon Wright. I think it's good to have some veterans at the point guard spot. And if a guy like Rozier goes down, I think that DeLon Wright can come right in and step up. I really like him. I think he's a good defender. I think he's good for what we want on this team, as he accepts the 1-year deal. And now our roster is finally set. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Like I said, we have Thybulle, Jackson Hayes, De Silva, Rozier as our top guys. Wright and Gillespie are there as well. Jabari Walker, James Wiseman, Jericho Sims, Juzang, Cam Reddish now, DaRon Holmes, Xavier Tillman, J.D. Davidson, and Jameer Watkins. That is the squad heading into the first year of year one, or the first game of year one, I should say. And they didn't give us an easy schedule to start. They gave us the Indiana Pacers, who made the NBA Finals last year. They gave us the Cavs, who were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And then they gave us the Thunder, who won the NBA Finals last year. So really tough slate of the first 3 games of the season. And if you are wondering when we play the Vipers, that is going to be on December 2nd, the first time. We only play them 2 times a year since they are in the West. So December 2nd, we'll definitely be looking to get into that game and watch and see what happens. And that's what I would like to take this time to talk about this series and like what it's going to be. I'm not going to be playing the games physically. We're going to be going in, watching games. We're going to be simulating games, watching parts of games, watching full games, and just kind of going through the season as I see fit. I would love to play the games. I really would in 2K, but it's too easy. No matter how hard I make the sliders, all of that, at the end of the day, it's just too easy, and I would win every single game if I played them all. I'm not trying to say that like I'm some god player or anything like that. I'm an average, maybe above average player. I do play a lot of my career. I like to play online in this game. But at the end of the day, it's just too easy playing against the CPU. There's too many exploits and all that. So I like it to be CPU versus CPU gameplay. And if that turns you off a little bit, I understand. But I do ask that you give it a chance. It can be a lot of fun. Lots of great storylines to go along in this series. So I'm excited. And that's really all I have to say about that. But Next order of business is I want to take a look at the draft class and see how it's looking. So we take a look here at the top ranked player. It is going to be Irvin Morgan, a point guard who's 20 years old. I am going to be doing auto-generated classes for this series. I think that's the best way to go about it. These are the top guys in the draft. We'll get to know them more as the season progresses. All right, the last order of business, I think, in this first episode is we have to fill out our coaching staff and our GM, assistant GM, CFO, doctor, scout, all of that. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. All right, I have went ahead and signed a full staff. Let's go ahead and meet them. Benjamin Moore is going to be our assistant GM. Josh Bell is going to be our CFO. We'll skip over the coach for a second. Our head scout is going to be Howard Wells. He has the dedicated badge there on silver. He also has the Bloodhound badge. We have a team doctor here, David Clark. He has 5-star potential. So that's why I went and got him. And then for our head coach, it is going to be Jacob Underwood, 5-star potential. Now, his offensive coaching is actually a lot better than his defensive coaching at the moment, but he is a grit and grind play style coach, and that is why I went out and got him. He doesn't have any badges right now, but like I said, that is the kind of style of team that we want to be. We want to be a grit and grind team and make you work for your points. And we're going to have to work for our points on the offensive end, but as long as you're working harder for yours, that's what matters to this Pittsburgh Phantoms team. Anyways, that is going to do it here for episode 1. Next episode, we will get into some gameplay where we're gonna take on that Pacers game on our home opener, our first ever game. And if you're excited for that, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. I appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video and watching all the way through. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.